Rundown April 5th, right? All
Yep.
right. Rundown, first of all, I should be wearing a Villanova shirt. I'm not because Villanova hasn't sent me a shirt. So, Auburn intramural champions. What's it say in the back? All we do is win, win, win. Thank you, Auburn. War Eagle. The rundown today, my mic stand. We bought the same mic stand that sucks in the office. I don't know why we would buy one that we couldn't get to work in the office for here. Do you have any words on, Hank, why you bought one that literally never worked in the office? You bought the same model. I actually said, is that the same mic stand from the office? You're like, no, I bought a new one. But the same one that does not work in the office. Guess what? Same exact problem with the mic stand. Same model. Let's just keep buying the same one that doesn't work.
Why don't you just hold the mic? Why are you holding the mic in the mic stand?
Because I wanted for effect to show you what I'm dealing with, Kevin. I'm in a bad mood a little bit. I don't even know why. The rundown is brought to you by SeatGeek. Get all your tickets there, SeatGeek. The new code, which is a super duper code, is rundown. So when you put rundown in, you get $20 off your next purchase. It's a rebate form. So you buy your tickets, they send you $20 in the mail. Rundown. That's the show you're watching. Rundown. I'm trying to get the Red Sox on extra innings. I have them on. Doesn't say Verizon Fios stinks in New York. That's probably part of the frustration. I finally have them on.
What's
the
the
Rundown,
score?
they stole the name of the show. Some Russo, your boy Russo, is doing a show called The Rundown, KFC. Did you know that?
I don't think I did. Mad Dog?
Yeah,
Mad Dog?
he's doing a show called The Rundown. This
Dave,
is
what's the score in the
Rundown.
Red Sox game? I took the over.
It was 2-2 last time. I can't see the TV from where we're doing the rundown. That's a problem. Anyways, let's get into stuff. NCAA championship on a bright note. One of the all-time games last night. Everybody said it. So much to talk about. And we have the favorite viral moments coming up next. My biggest takeaway is Roy Williams escaped the wrath of myself and probably people who are actually paying attention in one of the most sneaky, underrated, worst coaching moves ever. When they didn't foul, they literally gave away 2 to 3 possessions where you can just foul, make somebody hit free throws, come back down. They shortened the game in the weirdest sense. He got bailed out by that amazing 3, and then everyone forgets about him. Unbelievable game. Really tremendous. Big Cat, what do you got?
More than the Roy not fouling, that defense on the last shot. I mean, the last shot was amazing. Let's just say, like, it was an incredible moment. One of the best NCAA moments I've ever watched. The defense was terrible. They somehow lost the guy who inbounds the ball. They basically let Archidiakono grab the ball pretty much without being defended off of the inbound. So that was really bad. But yeah, it was one of the most, I think it was probably the best NCAA title game I've ever watched. I'm trying to think. I think there was like a UConn Duke game that was unbelievable back in like 99 or something. But that was
with
such
the fat
a great
guy,
game.
Khaled Almin.
Yeah, great moment, great game. Confetti guy, shout out to him as well. I wrote that blog. The moment, like being able to watch them all come together and then confetti instantly coming down, and they did the shot to Raleigh and they did the shot to Jay Wright, who's basically cool as a cucumber. The whole thing was unbelievable.
KFC?
It was the one thing that I thought that this tournament was lacking. Like, there was a lot of great upsets, and then there was a bunch of blowouts. There wasn't really one game that I thought was just a great, entertaining basketball game against 2 high seeds, and it delivered in every single way. I mean, we'll pass it over to Smitty now. Let him get his Villanova shine since it's his boy.
Well, no, before we do that, there's been a lot of hubbub. It's a Philly team that you pretty much ignored, I guess, or just were too lazy to talk about, Smitty, for the majority of the tournament. And now it's you're having parades down Broad Street, which we'll get to. What is going on with Villanova, the city of Philadelphia? I know there's a bunch of schools there. It seems like the entire city's behind it. Were you consciously ignoring them or just lazy? Were you happy they won or not? Like, give us the Philly, not a Nova guy, but Philly guy perspective.
Well, this is how college basketball works in Philadelphia. There's a thing called the Big Five, which is LaSalle, Temple, LaSalle Temple, fucking Villanova,
St. Joe's. It's a big four, isn't
St.
it?
Joe's,
Penn.
and Penn. And Drexel's 6. That's City 6. If you don't go to one of those schools, then you pretty much have free reign to root for whoever goes further, like me. So I came in this year. I was rooting for St. Joe's, Temple, and Villanova. Whoever went farther, that's what I'm rooting for. It's just the way it is, and that's the way it's always been. If you go to one of those schools, then it's a little more acceptable to hate on the other ones. I wouldn't say you definitely can't be outright rooting for them. Like, there are tech tweets going out saying that Temple kids were wearing Villanova stuff. That's pretty much not good for anyone. But the Big Five is more of a community. Like, the coaches are all together doing stuff, charity. In the offseason, they're openly rooting for each other to go far in the tournament. So I don't see necessarily the big deal about rooting for one team over another, especially if you don't go to any of the schools.
But all right, so
Makes sense.
when did you get on the Villanova bandwagon?
I was never on the Villanova bandwagon. Even last night, like I'm not a diehard. I'm rooting for them because it's good. I wouldn't say it's a Philadelphia win, like if the Phillies or any pro team won a major championship, but I definitely say it's a win for Philadelphia, and it's definitely a win for college basketball because of the history. I don't say I ever hopped on the bandwagon. I was definitely rooting for them.
I'm not necessarily saying it like that. When were you like
That's it.
Villanova as me being a Philly guy? I got to start blogging this. Do you understand? I don't necessarily mean like you personally, like I'm killing for Philadelphia. I mean, it's like a major event in my city that since I'm the Philly guy, I'm going to have to be like paying close attention now.
Pretty much up until the Final Four. But me personally, I can't capture the Villanova Nova Nation shit as well as anyone else. Like, I'll cover it, I'll give it my outside perspective, but I'm not that guy.
I have no problem. I said the same thing. If St. John's were somehow to win it, I would be pulling for them, but I would in no means be like, this is a championship for me, and this is a championship for my city. And people keep saying, like, oh, there would be parades. I really genuinely don't think there'd be any parades in New York if somehow a New York basketball squad won. I know the Big Five is different, and there is, like, history there, but I don't think this wouldn't happen in Boston. This doesn't happen.
It did. BU and BC, when they won the hockey thing, which is hockey, they took the duck boats and went on a parade.
They did.
Yeah. I ripped them a new asshole at that time. I said it's absolutely insanity because especially no one gives a shit about BC here. No one really cares about BU. So it varies. There are very few, I think, colleges, cities that you could actually say have that one school that people like Texas, maybe
it's state schools. If it's a state school, it's different because then you got a lot. Like if Illinois did well, people are rooting for it in Chicago. Northwestern people don't care about for the most part.
Yeah, but I mean, and it varies. I mean, most schools though still, if Michigan wins, you have Michigan State people who hate Michigan and vice versa. Yeah, right. So there's generally people from the state who like the video, and we're getting off, but like it's different. Duke's not a state school, but the college rivalry generally is the most hated people that you have are right down the road. Favorite viral moments, and there's a million of them. They're still coming out. I wrote down a couple that I thought were my favorites. Just this is really an excuse to get them in the podcast. But we had the Duke fan who I think showed the most emotion still of like any of the videos I've seen.
Shut the fuck up. Fuck off! Fuck off! No fucking way!
The reason I like that Duke kid, there was nothing fake about it. I mean, he was literally as excited, maybe more so, watching North Carolina get their guts ripped out than Duke winning.
His friend basically was like, dude, chill out, and he almost punched him. That's when you knew it was real.
I don't know if you guys saw recently, a Nova kid just pooped in the middle of the parade, like in the riots. He pulled his pants down, took a dump in the middle of the street, and then like high-fived like he just flipped a car. The mascot getting punched right after the game. I don't know. Do we know who punched the North Carolina mascot? I'm not sure we do. Barkley, Big Cat. That 3 was the over, correct?
Also the over, yeah.
So that's what he was
But
celebrating.
you couldn't have lost. The over was 149, so it was 74-74. You couldn't have lost at that point.
True. Good point. Take that back. I did like that celebration just because Kenny the Jet was so depressed. He just
So depressed.
just slurked back, and then the little kid crying. I'm going to stick with the Duke kid. That was my favorite. Laugh out loud funny how excited he was. We'll start again. You, Big Cat. What was your favorite viral you've seen?
I would say it was probably Jay Wright being just like, I don't even know if he knew that they won when they won. It was crazy that he was so calm. Barkley is definitely up there. There was some blog that I think K Marco put up of a reaction like in the bar in Philly, and it was cool because you can tell like the moment he like obviously launches the shot, and then there's that brief second where it's like and then just absolute eruption. I can't imagine what being part of that moment would have been like. A buzzer beater to win national title. It's like basically a walk-off home run is the only thing better.
Yeah, no, there's one thing better. It's like an interception at the goal line when you think they're going to just basically run it in, the game's over. And it's not even, you don't even go from tied. It's from losing to winning. That moment, with all due respect to this moment, that moment looked like kindergarten shit compared to somebody who would be lucky enough to be at the goal line for a play like that.
Can I quickly say, because we like kind of glossed over the actual game, Villanova was such a good team, and that's like a cliche to say, but the way they played together, and you could tell they kind of rattled UNC in the second half. They defend so well together. They pass the ball so well. So like maybe UNC has better pro guys, but Villanova was by far the better team.
You know what, too, though? We spoke about Roy Williams being bailed out. Nova was shitting their pants down the stretch there. If they don't end up with that buzzer beater, you talk about Archie Diacono throwing that ball away. I mean, they were really. If that game goes to overtime, I don't know if they pull it out. So
I'll admit
we're a good team, but
I do this quite a bit. I make rash decisions, but watching this tournament, I'm convinced Jenkins is going to be an awesome pro. Like, convinced of it. He may not be, but I'm convinced of it.
He's also got that. I think, and this might sound crazy, it's like the little bit of fat on him. He's got that little bit of smoothness, and he gets the shots. Like you just don't see it. If he was long and dangly and really skinny, he would be like a UNC guy. But he's got that little bit of extra pounds where it's like, he doesn't really try. He doesn't really care, but.
It creates space by like just his body, and he can shoot. Smitty, viral moment.
It's the reaction videos all throughout Philly at the bar, and every place on a Monday night was packed last night. And I was sitting next to someone who just flipped the table right away, right when it happened. But other than that, there's one out there, the security guard, just facing the opposite way, just right away.
I think in that video, our girl Casey is in the background, like slinking past that security guard, like a quick little view there.
Big year for her.
We talked about this. We don't really have to continue with it. By the way, I watched the team stream for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, just tried to see Casey. I never saw her. I guess you had to be at certain moments. The team stream broadcast sucked. Sean McDonough, by the way, I still think is the best announcer, stuck behind Nance. We'll talk about that. Are we going to talk about that? Oh, I skipped over. I'm glad. Great job, Dave. Your brain's just correcting your own mistakes. The Jim Nance tie thing.
It's a personal Final Four tradition. The tie symbolizes a lot to me. My father, who taught me how to tie a tie, I just felt years ago that I wanted to do something to honor a senior on the team that wins the title, to give them something to take home. I bring a new tie every year to the game, and I find a player who I'm inspired by everything about them. What they do on the floor, what they've done in the classroom. That was an easy one tonight.
Apparently, this is a tradition I've never heard of, and apparently just started by Jim Nance. He's probably leaking it to the public and then making Archie Diacono wear the tie on the thing. So he gives his tie to who he thinks is the most valuable player. I don't know how you don't give it to Jenkins. It's almost racist not to give it to him. But KFC, you blocked it. What
senior.
It's got to be a senior. Is
that a new rule that he makes up on the fly?
Yeah, that's part of the rule. Yeah.
I need someone to ask Jim Nance who else has received the Jim Nance Final Four tie. I need a list. I
wasn't
need somebody
joking.
else to give it to because there's no one on the list because he fucking made it up because it would be the stupidest tradition to ever take place. Why would you want an old man's used tie? I can't believe, I mean, to put Archie Giannakino in that spot where he has to be like, I was so honored that Jim Nance gave me his necktie and wear it over his fucking shoulders. You ruined that kid's moment because now he's got to talk about Jim Nance's fucking tie. It's the biggest example of inserting yourself into someone else's moment I've ever seen in my life.
But
Kevin, you saying that might be fake or like there wasn't past years is so wrong. Jim Nance has like a mailing list and he sends these guys like a bottle of champagne on New Year's. The Jim Nance Tie Club. He is so self-important, being like, this is the biggest moment of your entire life. But here, kid, remember Jim Nance. Like,
And
it's
the way he
unbelievable.
The way he
It's so
described
out of this world that I love it. I actually love it. Like the Jim Nance Tie Club. He's been handing out ties like, hey, because you might not remember the moment you won a national title as a senior, here's a little extra token to make this a special moment for you.
And my dad taught me how to tie this, and it's a symbol of hard work. What, you're the only fucking person in the world who wears a tie, Jim Nance? What are you talking about?
It's just the fact that now everyone who sees that tie, they're like, what's that tie? Oh, that's Jim Nance's tie. Like, you have to say his name to fucking explain the story.
Smitty, you got anything on this?
I want to know when Jim Nance, like, all of a sudden just started to lose it. Like, that. Like, we're talking about him carrying around toast, him giving away ties. Like, next week, he'll be, like, fucking pissing in golf cups. Like, when did this happen? Like, he's the Masters guy. He's a CBS guy, and then he's doing this shit. Within the last 2 weeks.
I'd sort of respect it if he just started giving out the tie, like this week at the Masters, who he just gives out.
Yeah, what is he going to do? He's got to one-up himself this week. He's got to go 3 for 3.
Quite a life. I've never hated Nance. I mean, I didn't like when he
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him, but that's a crazy move.
Totally crazy. Totally crazy. Commercial break. Ready, go. All right, this I'm in New York now. I'm still not taking the subway. This story came in, this video. Stooley sent it in. This chick just masturbating the fuck out of herself next to a guy wearing headphones. I asked whether they knew each other. Everyone's saying they must. Then she tried to grab his hand and like make this dude finger her on the subway in public. Clearly somebody's taping like right across the aisle. KFC, clean your city up.
This is it, man. I mean, like you keep getting like surprised by these videos when we talk about it on the rundown. When you were like, if I see someone shit their pants in Starbucks, like I'm leaving the city, like you're gonna see that. You're gonna see people masturbating on the subway. They have to know each other strictly because once contact was made, like we let a lot of shit fly on the subway, where you just like kind of put your head down, you look straight ahead, mind your own business. If contact is made, all bets are off. You're fighting, you're running away. The whole thing's weird though, because even if you do know the person, I don't understand why you would just kind of sit there and watch. But get ready, man. Get ready, baby. This is your life now.
Smitty.
This is not that like crazy, Dave.
That was pretty fucking crazy.
I can find these on like Live Leak every single day.
Yeah. It's a subway. It's the same way in every city. It's the same way in Boston.
Now we're comparing Philadelphia, the Philadelphia transit system with the New York transit system. So maybe in those two cities, maybe this is what we deal with. But where you actually have civilians and not animals living in the streets, that stuff's frowned upon. Big Cat.
Well, that's why you're in your ivory tower taking cabs everywhere and Ubers. Like come
black
down
car
to
only.
people.
I only take black car.
Dave, the question you posed in the blog. You can't stick your hands down her pants in the middle of the subway because that's how you end up on the internet. But you do see where she's going after. See if maybe she wants to go grab a cup of coffee or whatever.
Because
clearly
the
she's
second
down.
part, what do you think Nate does in that situation? What do you think our boy Nate does?
Nate eats her out. Nate eats her out on there.
Nate's got the freaks, and that's a known fact. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna talk about the next one next time. People don't even know what I'm talking about. That's fine. I'll keep you guessing. Last one. We released the mini golf invitational today. Has everyone watched the mental dominant? In fact, Hank, do you want to hold the mic? Because Hank, did you guys watch your boy Hank mini golf? Who, Kevin, you said you thought would be good at mini golf. Did you watch this?
I didn't. You couldn't pay me to watch you play mini golf and fucking prance around and talk about yourself. So I did not watch it. But I will say, if someone can send me like a 15-second highlight of Hank playing poorly, I would like to see that. Because I did see some tweets, Hank, saying that you might have been in on the bet because that's the only way a person could play this bad at mini golf, which I did. I thought my boy Hank was like young and a mini golf kind of guy, and apparently I was sorely mistaken.
If Hank threw it,
Hank did not
shoeless
throw
Joe.
it.
I'm gonna be like the little kid, like say it ain't so, Joe. Outside the courthouse, like Hank, if you threw it in my face, it would be an all-time betrayal. And also, I didn't watch it either because
There's no way. I mean,
can't.
It's
I
honestly,
turned it on.
I've watched it 100 times. And
Yeah, we
I
know
sit
because
there
you
with-
star in it.
I sit there with popcorn and I laugh and I'm just like, that guy is so good. You can ask Renee, I pull out like, you got to watch this. Watch what I'm doing to these kids.
It's
watch
unbelievable, your
they are in
narcissism.
a spider web. They're in a python. When a python has you wrapped up and the more you struggle, the more it constricts and you can't breathe and it slowly chokes you to death. That's what happened in 18 holes of mini golf.
Dave, people actually think this is a shtick, but you actually are this big of a narcissist that you watch yourself and like
I
cry
watched that
laughing.
so many times.
And you've done that video 1,000 times where you basically a Dave Portnoy video with people in the background talking about how strong and strong-willed and tough and what a competitor, and you
I
got
loved
tooth pain and you just are in the face of the camera. All the idiots are in back. I mean, I haven't watched the video, but am I right?
Mostly, yeah. It's awesome, Smitty.
First of all, there's no doubt in my mind you scouted that course out before.
No.
There's no doubt in my mind why you did that. Second of all, what was your final score?
I don't remember.
Was it under 40 or was it over 40?
I literally don't. It was such a blowout that I don't remember.
Like, does the competition factor take in anything to you? Like, don't you want to like play the best, to be the best?
Those guys, I don't care who that was,
guy.
Smitty. You're missing the point. I took their brains and I took a hammer and I mushed it. I was just mushing brains. They didn't matter how talented or good they are.
I turned the motor skills
I turned a kid
out there. It's not gonna be that hard to mess with them.
Mess with them? No, I that's like 10 years. And when you move to New York, you'll be in the same boat. You won't be able to withstand the mental assault. And it'll be subtle sometimes. It won't be subtle sometimes. But you'll be the next guy next year in the Barstool Mini Golf Invitational. We'll play a different course, honestly. But you should watch it, study it, because that was some, like, I'm trying to think of an ancient, like Yum Sim Dum, The Art of War. Like, that's what that was. I suggest you watch it, Dan. I suggest you watch it, Kevin. It's great. It's 5 minutes of some of the best Barstool footage we've ever had.
I have not watched one of your videos since like 2012.
That hurts. It hurts that I do that many videos from 2012.
Don't worry.
I'm basically
Kevin,
paying for your kids like fancy Hoboken education, and she doesn't even know the history of how she can afford new shoes.
Don't worry, Kevin. Dave has watched his own videos enough for all of us.
For all of us.
I have
given us a
watched
bit more than
that mini golf video 100 times.
It's
and
insane that you're.
And
that
I
is,
laugh.
I believe it. I believe
laugh
it.
every time.
I would love I would watch a video of you calling Renee in to watch your videos, because I wonder at this point if she's just like, all right, let me watch you play mini golf. You're such a competitor. You're such a warrior. That's my man. Poor girl. Poor girl.
Poor girl. Rich girl.
Straight shot though. Those holes in ones was pretty direct line.
Anything else? That's the rundown. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? We good?
Good.
All right.
What a game. What a game, fellas.
What a game is
Nova
right.
Nation.
I mean, I'm just proud for the city of Philadelphia ending their championship drought. Smitty, congratulations.
Oh, fuck yourself. All right. Like,